Whatever issue you're having with trading is definitely not capital. The issue is always with you not being able to organize your knowledge in such a way that you can build small amounts to a reasonable amount. On the Reef, you can deposit as low as $5. Now, if you have a good strategy and you've organized your knowledge, you can definitely be able to build your $5 to a reasonable amount. There are times I've been able to grow my $10 to 200, my $5 to 50, 100. So if you're able to organize your knowledge, you're going to know your way around building small accounts. Now, in this video, I'm going to be showing you two setups that I love to see in the market to build my small accounts. I love to see those structures displayed properly, and I'm going to just leverage on them to build my small account. So I'm going to be showing you in this video the pattern or the setup or the strategy that I use majorly in building small account. Now, the first one is I'm going to draw that in graphical representation first, then I'm going to show you on chart. The first one I love is market giving me an impulse move. An impulse, a short eye, we call it unsupported low, downside. And when market is coming a bit of that, a little bit, then give losing strength. It might be a pattern. Whatever your confirmation is, just get it off the market. And when we have it take or enter here, and my take profit is definitely going to be on this low, the last low created that I am expecting market to come back to break. That is where I'm going to put my TP. I'm not going to be going to higher time frame at unrealistic places to put my take profits. No, I'm going to just walk around the low or the high in whatever the trend is. I'm going to work with the low or the high that is closer, that I know that yes, market is expected to come back to break this particular point. That is where I am going to put my take profit. Now, the second setup I really love to see when I want to build a small account is when market gives me a movement to the downside break of this, have something like this. Before the break, it is also unsupported. The market is coming back. I'm not going to be entering here. No, for a loss stick pattern, then I'm just going to continue that movement to take this particular low. Now, this high is our liquidity in this area. You can see that we had in cases where markets give a manipulation of a high or a manipulation of a low, we call it strong high or strong low. So this strong high and this particular high is a liquidity created. It's like an unsupported high created that we are expecting market to combination to the downside or to the upside in whatever the trend is. Now, if you switch this up, it is going to be, switch this up, you're definitely going to see it in line of an uptrend. So let's just see some examples. One example on chart and we are good to go. You would always see this kind of scenario on charts at least 3 to 4 times in a week. Now, when you see this kind of cases, you know that's your A setup and then you are putting in your best into it. Okay, you are not just taking any random trade to grow your account. So an instance for the second structure that I made mention of is where we had this high. This had this low created, which is like an unsupported low for us. Then we swept to take this low. After taking this low, market came back to our sponsored candle that has not been tested. Let me just mark that out. Market came back to this sponsored candle that was not with this previous low. It was not tested with this previous low. So we had markets come back to the sponsored candle and we made a continuation to the upside. And you can see that that's a strong low because we had a manipulated low to the left-hand side here. And that lower time frame, your 5-minute time frame, your 10 minutes time frame, you just get an entry and make a continuation to the upside. Honestly, all these long movements, I would not be in it because this is where my take profits would be. That's the disadvantage of taking profit earlier, but I think it's more beneficial to me than any other thing. So I'll just then take my profits here, then just look for an area where I could join that continuation. But all of these movements, I doubt I would be this particular place. I will just leave it for market to go just that way. And I'm going to look for my continuation to the upside or to the downside. I'm going to reanalyze it. Now, for the first structure, it's the same thing we are seeing here. We had an impulse to the downside. There was an impulse. The market created a high, like an on-the break of this previous low. And what did you see the market do? It came back to take out, come back to fill this inverted high. And after take, this is where my take profit is too small and I have an unsupported low to the left-hand side and put my take profits there. And you can see what market did here. We had that impulse to the downside. I took a particular trade on volatility, 10-1S, and that is exactly what market did too. Yeah. Okay. You can see that we had that impulse to the downside. There was huge high and we took out that low. And eventually market came back and broke this for that continuation. And the reason we could not come back to this, that impulse, market did not have strength to come back to this sponsored handle for a continuation to the downside. And that was exactly what market did there, which is our first structure that I drew out there. So you can always see these structures on assets. All you just need to do is pay attention and see exactly what market is doing. And you will be able to grow your small accounts to a reasonable amount. You'll stop looking for capital. You'll stop begging people to borrow money. And you'll stop borrowing money from people, to trade. You can fund $5 on Deriv, you can fund $10 on Deriv, and you grow it gradually and systematically, and you're good to go. You build it to a reasonable amount, and you follow the same process again, and that is just it for you. I hope this video enlightened you on some things. You can drop a comment below if you learned one or two things. And if you have a question, you can also drop it. I'm going to see you guys in the next video. Have a profitable day ahead.